It does appear that everything has frozen here. My laptop is frozen. My iPad is frozen, but hopefully you guys can hear me now. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm going to try to bring my co-host on, and I'm going to sue the pants off of Comcast. Well, we can't do that, but anyway, let's go here and pop. I believe I see the lovely Miss Tree Dolman in the building. Let's go ahead and take a peek and see if she is here and see if we can bring her on to the air. And it does appear that we are having some problems still getting her on. Let's try it again here. And presto, there she is. Can you hear me?
I can.
Right. Well, I'm not quite sure what's going on. We have some bugs in the machine, but nevertheless, the show must go on. So we are going to do the best we can with what we got to try to finish this show up here. And I believe I also have the champion in the building. I'm going to double check and make sure he's there. Let's see if I can get Mr. Tyrone Poole in the building. And there he is. Mr.
Hey,
Poole, how are you, sir?
everybody. Hello, Miss Tree.
Hey, Tyrone.
And Minister. Everybody watching, listening. Hope everybody had a great day.
I did have a great day until I came home to once again these. I'm not sure what's going on here with my computer. I rebooted it, did everything I had to do. I rebooted my everything, and it said I was getting 60 megabytes of speed, and all of a sudden when I went to go on, it said no, you're not. So, but nevertheless, the show must go on. Thankfully, I have an iPad, and iPad will make it do what it do. All right, guys, we now are down to 2 teams now. It's Super Bowl is here. And I believe Miss Tree sent in her prognostications to me last week, and I believe she picked the Chiefs and the Rams. Is that correct?
I did, and I picked the Rams to win it all.
Tyrone, and what were your picks, sir?
I think I went with the Chiefs and the Rams as well.
There we go. And I think I did the same. So we all are at 500. Yeah, I really, I'm not sure what all happened with the Rams. I mean with the Chiefs, I think it was just a little bit of I think a little bit of overconfidence and cockiness to me. I mean, I just think after the first half, they thought they were going to kind of roll down the road. They took, I thought, a very, very senseless move to not get a field goal to extend the lead. And I think that pretty much was the ball game after that. That gave them just enough hope to think, okay, we can come back here and win against these guys.
Yeah, I think the playoffs, you have to get points when you can get points. And,
right.
You never turn points down. The old saying is, even though they did not put points on the board, but the old saying goes, if you ever put points on the board, you never take them down. Don't do the ball to the 5-yard line, but realistically, if you do have an opportunity to score a touchdown and you feel very secure, then hey, if I'm bigger than you, then yes, I'll off the board and go for the 7. But these coaches are who they are, like the late Dennis Green said. They are who they are.
Yeah, definitely. I think an unwarranted gamble. Tree, what was your take on that game?
My mind was just blown. I could not believe that they blew that lead, and I do think that they really did not think that it was going to be a difficult task to go in and beat them. And it's funny because a lot of the teams had home field advantage, and it meant nothing because the visitors came in and beat a lot of teams in the playoffs this year, which is, it's just been a crazy season. But congratulations to the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, they went in, they played, they did not give up. And just like they say, any given Sunday.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it was the Bengals Sunday to do what they had to do. Joe Burrows, smooth as glass, did what he had to do late in the game. And like I said, again, I just think the Chiefs were just overconfident. I think that they thought they had the game won. They took a lot of risk. And the other thing, too, is I think we saw this a lot this year from Mahomes. It really seemed like he was trying to do too much. Maybe it just seemed like he was trying to take the team on his shoulder, try to make plays that really weren't necessary. Tyrone, you've been there, done that. How important is it for people to kind of just, stay and, as Bill Belichick would say, just do their job and not try to win it by themselves?
But football, as they say, is the ultimate team sport. So unlike basketball and sports where it may look like a team, but really one individual can take over. But in football, that's why they say it's the ultimate team sport.
No doubt. Let's go ahead. Todd had to throw a shot at me while I was kind of going black. He said, Rev, the show is going blank. He said, so my man Todd always keeping it real. Yeah, he said, hey, one of the best shows of the year. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate you, bro. Yep. So far, so good. Like I said, and listen, I mean, things happen. I mean, the one thing that I realized about doing this is that you can take all the safeguards you like and do all the things that you think will prevent these things. But anytime you're doing a live broadcast, anything can happen. So I'm just thankful that we're able to get on the air and actually talk to you guys and see you guys and get a feel for what was going on. Well, before we get into the other game, the other thing, obviously, breaking news all across the NFL. Let's see if I can get him back on the screen. Oh, there's another blank screen. There he is. That guy right there, Mr. Tom Brady. He has officially retired. So Tom is hanging him up. And so I'm going to get you guys feedback on what you think about Mr. Brady and him packing it up. Tyrone, actually, I'm going to go to you first, and then we'll go to the break, and then we'll come back and talk to Tyrone since he actually played with Mr. Brady. Treat, your thoughts.
My thoughts, I am just thankful for the wonderful career that he gave us, the exciting football that we were able to see. I love Tom Brady. All of you know that. He went to Michigan, and I've been rooting for him the entire time he's been in the league, and he's done some amazing things. He's by far, in my opinion, the best quarterback to ever play the game, and I believe one of the best football players to ever play the game. And I'm sad to see him go because it will not be the same without him. But I do love and appreciate the work ethic and the mindset that he's put into a lot of the current players' minds on how the game should be played and preparation. And again, just a job well done to him. What a phenomenal career, 22 years. That is just amazing. And just the many records that he has broken, by far the best to ever do it from the quarterback position.
No doubt about it. And the question will be, and is out there right now, is not only the greatest quarterback ever to play the game, but is he the greatest football player ever to play in the NFL? We'll talk about that and also talk about the breaking, I don't know if you want to call it a scandal, but more breaking news from the NFL that could shake up the world. All right, guys, keep it locked right here for more of the Real Talk Sports Show, and we'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice.
So, guys, please partner with us. We have great folks that can do a great job on kind of putting the voice behind your commercial. Please, in fact, contact us there, or you can contact me directly on the cell, 678-410-9833. Let's go back to social media here. And actually, we're going to wait for this second. I want to get Mr. Tyrone Poole's opinion on that guy that we see right behind us there, getting a little clips of some stuff going on from Tom Brady. Tyrone, you played with Tom. Your thoughts about him being the GOAT, and just what it was like to play with a guy who's now considered the greatest or one of the greatest football players ever to lace him up.
Well, again, Tom had a great career, but, hands down, football is the ultimate team sport. One person can't do it by themselves, but when you do get an athlete with passion like Tom and you put him around other players like Deion Branch, David Givens, you have you surround yourself with great people, then it just makes you become even greater. Tom's a very passionate quarterback person, great person, and it showed in his career. So he had a very, very productive career. So I'm pretty sure guys like Ted Washington, Teddy Bruschi, Adam Vinatieri, those guys are wishing him well, and together again had a heck of a run. heck of a run. So you surround yourself with guys like Tom, guys who, basically come in and what 6th-round draft pick, and you come in with passion, the one thing that people can't measure. Everyone loves the underdog. So, he really took the opportunity, took the bull by the horn, and he had a great opportunity with in New England, and was surrounded with great players, and man, he took advantage of it, and it showed with all those Super Bowl trophies. So same thing in Tampa Bay. Surround yourself with a great team, and you're a great individual yourself, you're going to win. So Eagles surround themselves with Eagles. So that what his career has shown. I think he is a great quarterback for this era, but I don't know if he's the best overall, but I think he's the GOAT as far as winning titles when it comes to quarterback. That's hands down. He has the most trophies from a quarterback. But, I'm pretty sure Tom would say the same thing. He was like, there are other guys that can throw that ball harder, that can do this and do that. But for what he's accomplished, yes, he is the GOAT of winning Super Bowl trophies and winning games. Yes.
Let's go to social media here. Todd has got a couple of things here. He said, okay. Todd is always taking some shots there. I don't think that Tyrone questioned the fact that the Patriots team allowed him to win those 2 Super Bowls. I think you said that a couple of times. Also want to give a big shout out here from Leonard Spikes, a guy that I've worked with, does a lot of stuff with plays he's doing now, and R&B review, bringing back some old school music. So, Brother Spikes, we appreciate you, man, and we look forward to working with you when the time comes. Yes, I mean, we're looking at Brady. Go ahead.
See, sometimes you have people who talk and don't know what they're talking about. So if Todd if he understands football is the ultimate team game. Okay. Everybody has to do their job, just like you said, Jonathan. Deion Branch has to catch that ball. Offensive line has to block. I said you have to put great people around great people. But let's look at it. Adam Vinatieri, if he hadn't kicked them pass and kicked the ball, even if you go to the Carolina Panthers in Super Bowl 38, if John Casey had not kicked that ball out of bounds and gave the ball to us at the 40-yard line, you go 20 yards, we in field goal range. So Adam Vinatieri really won Super Bowl 38. Tom threw the ball. I'm not taking no credit away from Tom. Okay? He's a great player. But at the end of the day, I was there. Not you, Todd.
Well, there you go. I think that sums it up pretty well. Yeah, there's no doubt that that's it. Now, Todd is now once again throwing some shade at Mr. Brady, saying it made it sound like he didn't even play in New England. For a statement today, you would not have known, no mention of New England at all. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, the guy retired with Tampa Bay. He played 2 seasons with them. He just won a Super Bowl with them, and that's the last team he played for. I'm sure had the information not leaked out ahead of time, that he might have done something more formal. And I think at some point he will probably come back to New England and make a more formal type of presentation. But as it is, I think Giselle was in his ear saying, "Honey, no more, no more." And I think that was about it. Yeah, I mean, it really just seemed like, and rightfully so, the guy's a family man. Tyrone, you're a family man. You know how it is. I mean, football takes a lot away from you during the season. You really can't do much with your family and kids because to be great, you got to be dedicated to it. So I think that Giselle told Tom, "Honey, we got enough money. You got enough rings. That's enough." And the rest is history.
I think
he did mention the Patriots later. He just did not mention the Patriots in his initial post.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Todd always has to kind of stir the pot a little bit, kind of get everything, get the juices flowing. So, that's how he rolls. I appreciate you, man, because at the end of the day, that's what makes for good sports talk. So we do appreciate him. Let's take a look here at game number 2. And we will get into the controversy about what's going on in the NFL a little bit. But we want to get back to the 2 championship games. Looking in.
Oh, are we done talking about Brady?
Yeah, I think, unless you got some comments, you got anything to say about Mr. Brady?
Oh, no, I thought you were saying you were going to ask if he was the best player in the NFL, period.
See, we do have something more to talk about. So what do you think? First, I'm going to ask you, Tree, do you think that Tom Brady is not just the best quarterback, but the best football player ever to play the game? I'm going to try to find that link here where I sent the top 10 according to a poll, but I'll let you go ahead and speak on that. Do you think Tom Brady is the best football player ever to play the game?
I will have to say no. And some may think that I'm being biased, but I don't. I feel that my husband is the best player to ever play the football game, because when you look at his stats and all that he did in the game of football and how he played and how teams had to make a different move, and they had to work around him when they knew they were playing the great Chris Dolman. So I would say that my husband is the best football player to ever play in the National Football League.
All right. Well, I can understand where you would, say that because your husband. So I can get all that. But at the end of the day, a lot of great players that they ended up playing there. And look, we got you now in double time. Isn't that something? We got you. I don't have my screen. Just say, hey, we want to see more of the tree. I mean, literally, we have all kinds of things going on here today, guys. So this again is what makes live TV so exciting. I don't know what happened there, but I guess it said, hey, we want to get more of you. And there's our gal Sparkle. All right, Tyrone, how about you? Who do you think is the best player in the history of the NFL? What are your thoughts?
Well, how I judge who's the best player is who transcended the game. Who transcended the game? Who took the game to where they created something in the game that is everlasting? I go back and look at Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor transcended the game. Jim Brown, I'm like, they knew he was going to get the ball. He transcended the game. Now, again, like I said, I think Tom is a heck of a player. I think he is the best player in this modern era. He is the GOAT. He's won championships. I do, but I even believe Tom would say, "Nah, man, don't put all that pressure on me." But I think he is in the conversation. But when I just look at guys like Reggie White, man, Reggie White transcended the game, man. I'm like, you look at Deion Sanders, transcended the game. Jerry Rice transcended the game, Tom transcended the game, winning championships. So he's in the conversation. But, I think that Tom would even say that there's some guys that deserve more than him. Walter Payton, these are guys, who transcend the game. Fran Tarkenton, Roger Staubach, these guys transcended the game. So I think in my definition, when you say you're the best of all times, maybe in that era, but I look at like overall, because you're basically saying the best in the game. You're comparing everybody who ever laced it up and everybody who ever strapped it on. So, yes, the Super Bowl titles, what if you gave Peyton Manning, all those Super Bowl titles? Now, would you be saying Peyton Manning is the best to ever play the game? I think Peyton's a heck of a quarterback. I'm pretty sure Tom would say that both of them are real good. So, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to really say, but my definition is if you transcended the game, then you're in the conversation at the top. So, that's my stance on it. Love Tom, but I'm pretty sure Tom would say the same thing.
Yeah, I think anybody that has been around the game, very few people go ahead and take that kind of moniker. Well, Todd agrees with you. Once again, he says best player ever was prime time. H.C. Hardy says Tom Brady is not the best football player, but he is the GOAT in clutch situations. Let's see if we have any more comments here. And so I mean, and looking at it, I mean, if you look, it's interesting because coming in, I had heard a guy from the New England area, he covered the Patriots, I guess, for the last 15, 20 years, covered sports, Shaughnessy, and he actually said that he felt that Brady was the best athlete in Boston sports history. Now, that's going down in all sports. You're talking about against Bill Russell. You're talking about against Larry Bird. You're talking about against the great Bobby Orr, the hockey player. You're talking about, Ted Williams, who's arguably one of the best hitters ever in baseball. So a lot of people that he said the greatest athlete of all time. But he said because Brady was kind of like you mentioned, a transcendent player in his 22-year career, he won more Super Bowl titles than any other franchise. He's got 7. The next closest team is Pittsburgh with 6. So, granted, like you said, it's a team game. But, a lot of people go by winning championships. And certainly this guy has won a lot of championships.
That's the point right there. Quarterbacks are judged by Super Bowl trophies. Okay.
Yep.
Now we go back, even the game against the Seattle Seahawks. I love my Patriots. But sometimes I call that thing straight down the middle of the road. I love Tom. He's a heck of a player. But you go back, Malcolm Butler. If Malcolm Butler doesn't get that interception, We're looking at 5 Super Bowl titles, which still is a lot, but he's up there with Joe Montana. You know, so or I'm trying to say Joe Montana, but the 49ers had 5. But did the 49ers have 5? Or the Steelers had 5? But either way, there was some player. It's a team sport is what I'm trying to say. It's a team sport. And he was the best at doing what he did for the Patriots and for the Buccaneers. And like you said, Jonathan, quarterbacks get judged on Super Bowl trophies. D linemen, they get judged on quarterback sacks.
Yep.
Defensive backs get judged, and Jonathan has pulled the disappearing act on it.
Well, while Jonathan has disappeared, I do want to say that I know that we see you, Jonathan. You're back. But
hold on a second.
me off the screen.
There we go. Okay, you're back.
What are you doing? Okay. But I do want to say that even though quarterbacks are quarterbacks, but we all know that Tom Brady is not your average quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. There's no way that Tom Brady goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and they win a Super Bowl championship without them also letting Tom Brady be the offensive coordinator, the general manager, the head coach. Tom Brady put in work last season and this season to get that team to where they were able to win a Super Bowl. And it's because, of course, the Bucs allowed him to do those things because they did believe in him and trust in him because of his greatness and all of the rings that he had at the New England Patriots. But we all know that Tom Brady was doing much more than just throwing a football when it came to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers season last year and this year.
Yeah, and I agree with that, Tree. Also, they did the same thing. The Broncos did the same thing with Peyton Manning. The Minnesota Vikings did the same thing with Brett Favre.
Yeah.
You know, you got greatness coming in. You don't make them learn a new system. You say, hey, what do you do best? What do you do best? This is what I know. We tie it in to our system. And then you surround yourself with great players. A running game, receivers that can throw, and they make sure they protected Tom. So, you know, he's great. Like I said, I ain't taking nothing from Tom. Love him. But at the end of the day, like I say, Tom would say, man, you know what? These guys, you know, right here, right there. But like I said, they did the same thing for Peyton Manning, same thing for Brett Favre. If it ain't broken, don't fix. How can we blend into what you got?
Yeah, it's funny that you guys mentioned that because if you remember, that was one of the problems early on when Tampa Bay they actually weren't playing that well. If you remember, Bruce Arians actually hollered at Tom after one of the games. It was because of the fact of what you said, Tyrone. It took them a while to really start to implement the playbook that really suited Brady's sensibilities best. And as far as being a GM, I mean, remember, he was the guy that said, look, Antonio Brown can stay in my house. I know he's crazy, but this guy here can still give me what I need, which is a deep threat to go along with Gronk. So no question, you're right. Let's go back to Miss Dolman.
He yelled at Tom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, the coach got in his kitchen. He said the guy, because Tom had a game, I think he threw like 2 interceptions. I mean, he just had bad reason. The coach was like, dude, what are you doing? So yeah, Bruce got in his backside. But again, Bruce Arians has that ability to do that because if I'm not mistaken, Tyrone, wasn't he either offense coordinator or quarterback coach with Pittsburgh with Roethlisberger?
Yeah,
so this right.
And also he was quarterback coach in Indianapolis for Peyton Manning. So he was a quarterback coach for Peyton Manning.
Well, I must say that after the last couple of games, I am not a fan of Bruce. I don't care who you coach. I don't care your record. I don't care all that. You don't put your hands on another man. And when he went on the field and hit his player in the head, even though he had a helmet on, but you still hit him in the head, that was uncalled for. And what really made it worse is when the NFL penalized him, he appealed it, which let me know that he thought that it was okay. That's the biggest. I mean, of course, the biggest problem is that he did it, but the second biggest problem is that he appealed it, thinking that you should not be fined for hitting a player in the head. I have a problem with that. He lost a lot of my respect once he did those two things.
Well, I mean, be honest, I missed that. I didn't know Bruce was involved. Who he smacking the head? I didn't know that.
What was his number?
I think 26.
Yeah, I think it was
Okay.
26.
Yeah.
It was during he was on special teams, and Bruce ran on the field and smacked the player in his head, yelling at him. And then when the NFL fined him, he appealed the fine, obviously, because he thought that what he did was okay. And I have a problem with that.
Well, your boy Todd backs you up. He says that Tree, I agree. After that, the team kind of quit on the coach after that hit. I'm not sure of that because, again, the game came down right down the wire. And he said it was as bad as Woody Hayes. And we got going the way back machine. Woody Hayes was the coach of Ohio State back from the 60s and 70s. And there's an infamous scene where he actually lost his job. They playing the game against Clemson, I believe, in a bowl game. And one of his players made a mistake. And he actually, as the player was coming off the field, grabbed him right in the middle of the face mask and shook him like this and smacked him in the back and actually pushed one of the other players from the Clemson team. And after that, the great Woody Hayes found himself unemployed. So, yeah, you don't want to be putting your hands on nobody. And me personally, I'd be afraid to put my hands on anybody. I'm thinking, dude, that's a good way to get hurt. You ain't got no equipment on. These guys are way stronger than you. That's a recipe for disaster. But look, guys, keep it locked right here. We'll be coming back with more sports talk, talking about who we think is going to win the Super Bowl and the craziness that's going on in the NFL right now that might break the whole thing wide open. We'll be back with more great sports talk in just a moment.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
It's Jonathan Simmons, your commercial truck guy here at Allen Vigil Ford and Lincoln. Well, we didn't even want to wait till this one got cleaned up because it's the rarest of rare, a 2019 Ford Transit cargo van. That's right, we have a pre-owned cargo van in stock. Speaking of stock number is KKB 01805P. This is an absolute gem, a 2019, that's right, not a 16, not a 17, 2019 Ford Transit 250 cargo van. And guess what? It has got great mileage.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
Yes, good news, guys. For those of you who are looking for a vehicle, we actually do have some vehicles in stock. I know a lot of you going around the place and say, man, you dealers don't have anything, but we do have about probably 24 Ford F-150s on the ground. We have lots of used cars. We have over 100 pre-owned vehicles in stock. And then you also have the ability to buy vehicles as they're coming in. We have vehicles that we know are going to be scheduled to arrive in this month and March. You actually put a deposit down and secure the vehicle for yourself. So again, give me a call, 678-410-9833, and I will certainly get you set up so that you can get your vehicle. And the other thing too is not pay over sticker. There are some dealers charging as much as $10,000 over sticker price for big trucks. We're not doing any of that. So again, give me a call, 678-410-9833, and we would love to help you out, you, your family, or your business if you need a new vehicle. Let's go to social media back here one more time here. And yeah, Todd is saying he can't believe that the coach's hit did not get more traction, should have been fired. Yeah. You know, sometimes when you're a Super Bowl winner, man, they give you a lot of leeway. All right, one of the things that also hit the fan at the same time here, we got people getting ready for the Super Bowl. We got, all the mandates going on in California. We don't know who's going to be able to cover, who's not going to be able to cover. And then all of a sudden, in the great coaching carousel that is in the NFL, something has hit the fan. Tom Flores former Miami coach, is saying that the Rooney Rule, which for those of you not familiar with that, the Rooney Rule asks the NFL teams that when they are interviewing for a new coach, that they do everything they can to make sure they interview African-American candidates, or I should say minority candidates. And it does appear Tom Flores says that this is all a sham, that teams are not being honest. And he called out the Giants, who allegedly made their choice of a coach before they even interviewed him. And he found this out, ironically, as Bill Belichick mistakenly texted him and texted the coach that the Giants hired before Flores was interviewed to say, hey, I heard you got the coaching job. So looking around the NFL and seeing that this is a recurring problem, Tree, any comments about, first of all, this incident? And do you think the NFL is still fighting racial problems with the owners?
Yes. It's quite clear that they are. There's a lot of teams in the NFL, and right now there is one African-American head coach. And if you look at the percentage of actual players in the league, you cannot tell me that there are not African-American head coaches that are qualified for the job. So in my opinion, and many others that I have spoken to, the answer is yes. The NFL does have a long way to go to solve that problem.
Tyrone, your thoughts? You've been in the league, been around coaches. Do you think that the NFL still has a racial problem, or is just people saying, hey, we're picking people that we know and like? It's got nothing to do with color.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's a combination of it. I think the NFL being the biggest at the top, it stands out more. But I think there's systemic situations amongst our own black people. You know, anybody. You know, hey, I'm gonna call it. I call it the good old boy system. The good old boy system. So the good old boy system works, you know, in every culture. Every culture. Instead of hiring the right person, we hire our buddy. The good old boy system. So the NFL, you know, they're, you know, wide open. They're bigger fish. Yes, it's wrong, and you know they just need to hire the right person for the job. But that good old boy system stems all the way down to our own families. You know, your neighbor could be the best person to get the job done for you, but because your cousin is doing it, you give it to your cousin. So, you know, I just think it's bad overall. But that good old boy system, that root, just like racism, runs deep. So it's unfortunate. And you know, Brian, you know, I'm just reading a text from his tweet, from his Twitter account. He says, "God has gifted me with a special talent to coach the game of football, but the need for change is bigger than my personal goals." Brian Flores said, this is coming from Adam Scheffner. Brian Flores said in the lawsuit, "I'm making this decision to file the class action complaint today. I understand that I may be risking coaching the game that I love and that has done so much for me and my family. My sincere hopes is that by standing up against systemic racism in the NFL, others will join me to ensure that positive change is made for generations to come." So, yes, I do believe that, you know, that racism, in other terms, the good old boy system, exists. But I think it exists all throughout society. You know, we do it. We do it, you know, it could be, and I'm actually just painting the big picture here for everybody to see. You know, we may have a white person that actually is qualified for the job, but because, you know, hey, that's my brother, we got the same skin, I'm gonna hire him. So that's systemic racism as well. But again, like I said, the NFL is much bigger. These other corporations are much bigger. It's wrong all the way around. But let's take a look at everything. Let's even look at ourselves in the mirror. Like Michael Jackson said, look at the man in the mirror. If we can start right there, then yes, we'll get rid of all this systemic racism and we'll hire the best person for the job.
Let's go to social media here. Todd says about to hit the fan. They got Belichick's emails. And then he said this thing about to affect the Super Bowl, some players may be going to boycott. Yeah, I mean, look, at some point, the league has to get this handled. I mean, it's been out for a couple of years. It's been rumored that the Rooney Rule is a big farce, that these guys are really not making a concerted effort. interestingly enough, they are appearing to be hiring more black general managers. The Vikings just hired a young man to be their general manager. I don't have his name right now, but young guy. I think he's barely 40 years old. Of course, we've done it right here with Terry Fontenot here in Atlanta. But, and of course, every year this comes up. How, in fact, now I understand that they like to say that Andy Reid calls the plays, but it's very, very interesting that credit is taken away from a guy like the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank here. Eric Bieniemy. Okay, so Eric Bieniemy, mysteriously, he's somehow not the guy that's the offensive guru. It all gets down to Coach Andy Reid. I'm not taking away from Andy Reid. The guy has been in 8 championship games between the NFC and the AFC, which is unprecedented. But at the end of the day, how can it be that year after year, this guy who has, really had one of the best offenses in the league, how come somehow or another he can't seem to interview well? I'm not sure what's going on in interview. Can you coach? Do players respond to your coaching? Can you make our team better? I'm not sure what else you need.
I think sometimes too, I don't know all of the details about anybody. You mentioned Eric Bieniemy. But I think sometimes, there's some things that we may have done in our past that will keep us from getting a job because, the higher you go up on that ladder, then the more exposure you get. And people going to dig into your past. And, sometimes that can keep us from getting that job that we want. And that's all in society. That's not just football. That's anything, because once somebody attach your name to their brand, they are attaching your name and everything else that you've gone through. So that's why I think, we need to start teaching our children, to do the things that we're complaining about right now. Hey, you want to have more opportunities to have a black president? Well, let's start teaching our kids about politics. Let's start teaching, put them in that environment. And then that's what we become. But we can't wait just because we see a problem. And then, you know what? They don't have enough black people. Let's go line up. You know what? We got to put ourselves in position to where we can do it. And I'll close with this. I think we need to create another league. I hope that the USFL does well. We can go over and be head coaches over there and GMs over there, owners over there. And what I'm trying to say is just like the AFL did back against the NFL, you put out a good product, people start buying your product, other people take notice. Next thing you know, they want to merge with you. So, sometimes maybe we got to start our own thing. Start your own thing.
Well, at the end of the day, there's a lot of options available. Certainly, USFL will see them this spring, and someday you have to start from the ground floor. We know how this works. There's always going to be some sensibility of people wanting to, quote unquote, work with people who they kind of have some kinship with. They know they like, and like you said, even in coaching, and we see it in the preaching business, and that's why I said preaching business. I always said to myself, I find it kind of funny that this is supposed to be a calling from the Lord. Yet you done gone like 3 deep in your family. The Levites, they gone. Back in the Old Testament, that's what they had. The Levites, the entire tribe, that's what they did. Their job was to serve the temple. That day gone. So it's always been mysterious to me how the bishop, his son becomes the next pastor, and you go down 5 and 6, and everybody's talking about, yeah, my grandfather. Oh, I get it. But you mean tell me all of y'all were called to that same church?
Systemic racism, it runs deep, man.
Well, we all know that it's who you know that gets you there and what you know that keeps you there.
There you go. But yeah, so at some point this is going to have to change. How they're going to do it, I don't know. The hope is, and see, this is what I try to explain to people about affirmative action. The whole idea was the original thing that Kennedy and the folks came up with back in the 60s. The idea was, hey, listen, if there are qualified candidates, we're not even give the okie doke. We're saying if there are qualified candidates out there, you should give them the same ability to get that job as your boy. And if he's more gifted, they should put him in there. And the idea is that the more, again, if you want to go back to working the system, the hope is the more African Americans you put in these positions, that they will now, hopefully not to that extreme, but do the same thing. They will bring in people they know and people they like that. But hopefully they do it differently. They bring in people that are qualified for the job, that the best man wins. Not the idea that, hey, because he's my guy, I'm going to put him in there. Or because I like him, or because he'll keep his mouth shut, or whatever kind of things you want to put out there. We want it to be something where the person is best qualified to get the job. And I think the NFL now has got something that they're really going to have to attack. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're going to have to, even look at Jim Caldwell. You talked about the Colts before. All these coaches that I see get hired, no experience. These guys that are retreads, they barely have a 500 record for their career. Jim Caldwell took over from Tony Dungy with the Colts, and what did he do? He took the Colts to 13-0, and I think he won in his 2 or 3 seasons. He won over 30 games, over 10 games a year. And mysteriously, this guy can't get hired. People are always too old. The game's passed him by. Really? Belichick 66. Bruce Arians 67, I think. Are these guys too old? Has the game passed them by? I'm just saying something's not right. I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, let's go to Todd saying here. He says, hey, he said, now Minnesota's about to hire Jim Harbaugh from Michigan. Okay, now the Jim Harbaugh hire, that one you can't bring to the table because Jim Harbaugh is not only experienced college coach, but when he coached San Francisco, I believe they went to an NFC Championship game 3 straight years. And he took a guy who, interestingly enough, is out of the league and mysteriously found a way to make Colin Kaepernick an impact player at the quarterback position. So the Jim Harbaugh thing, I got no qualms with that at all. If Minnesota wants to bring him in, that's not a guy you want to pick out because he's the guy that's a proven winner at both the collegiate and NFL levels. But some of these other yahoos they got, I mean, matter of fact, one team was considering a guy that hadn't even coached in the NFL at all. Where's Jim Moore when I need him? Playoffs? That's what I want to do, coaching. I mean, the guy hasn't done anything at all. Yeah. So that's why I have the problem. When you bring people in that have little or no coaching experience, and then you put these guys ahead of guys who have had long experience. And remember, what were we told before about why they didn't have black coaches? They said, well, you got to go through the system. You got to pay your dues. All these guys have done that, and they've been successful. So you can't keep moving the chess pieces around when you're trying to play the game. The rules of engagement have to be the same. They can't just shift every time you feel like it and make an excuse to keep them people out.
Yeah, and they also don't hire a lot of former NFL players. This is one of the craziest things. You have a league where you have players who played the game, who know it better than anybody because they've been out there, they've gone through it. And it's so hard for former NFL players to get hired as NFL coaches. It's the craziest thing.
It's
a joke.
Brian Flores. Back in 2019, this is how corrupt the system is to a point. The owner for the Dolphins, Miami's owner, Stefan Ross, said that he would pay Brian $100,000 for every loss, just so they could be able to get an opportunity to get a better draft position. How about that?
Yeah. That's what really had me shaking my head.
Well, okay, now all I'm gonna say about this is that I would not be surprised that's not been going on for a minute because Tyrone, you know how valuable it is, man, to get a top 5 draft pick.
But I'm saying what I'm bringing this up for, you got Brian Flores, who's there to win games.
Right.
He's there to win games. So if he loses games, then that owner is, not going to come and say, oh, I told him to do this.
Right.
Now, this information is out. So what is that? That's
I thought it was.
So this is, yes, that's the owner, but I'm looking at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is you have an Afro-American coach who you're telling to lose, and we're already behind the 8 ball anyways. That's how I look at the picture.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. And I don't know. Like if someone offered me $100,000 to lose, I wouldn't take it. But I know I'm a different breed of person. Money doesn't make a lot of my decisions. So I shouldn't say a lot. I don't make decisions off of money, period, point blank. But I do get that $100,000 per game is a lot, but I feel that integrity and morals and things of that nature mean way more. And I know even, which you can't even compare, but even when I was coaching volleyball and people wanted me to do things that I did not agree with, I never did because I have to stand off of my beliefs, and I have to know that I did the best that I could from what I wanted to do as a coach. And so I wonder if he did try to intentionally lose some games to get that money. I hope he did not, but you just never know. Like you were saying, Jonathan, you never know with this league. And unfortunately, you do have a lot of people who make a lot of decisions based off of money, unfortunately.
Well, now they said 100,000. And if you told me like, $250,000, $500,000, I'm just saying, I might have kind of blinked at that. Anyway, not to make fun of.
I'm sorry, you caught me off guard with that one.
I'm just, what they say, everybody got their price. I mean, he even ante up a little bit. 100,000, that's too little. But you say, hey, man, I need about 500 grand. I said, well, might have to do something. Okay. Todd is asking the question. He says, preacher, did Falcons coach Smith deserve it? FedEx and the good old system work right here for him in Atlanta. Well, I mean, here's the thing. That Coach Smith hire we're going to see what it is. Me personally, one of the things I do think, and we're not going to know until, Calvin Ridley either comes back or doesn't come back. For some reason, something happened with that coach and Julio that I think caused everything to go left between him and even Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, that was his boy, that was his mentor, Alabama guy. So I'm not sure. And the other thing is that, remember, he came over as being this offensive guru. And me personally, again, I know you didn't have all the pieces. You didn't have a Derrick Henry. But that's my point. The team, I didn't see anything that made me think that he was some type of super special offensive guru. Now, like I said, with the guys just a year in, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, it could be because Arthur Blank knew his dad. I mean, so how much better to get? I mean, and like you said, Tyrone, birds of a feather flock together. Both of these men extremely wealthy, traveling in the same circles. So, I don't know. It could be. All right, let's go here. H.C. Hardy also talking about the coaching situation. He said, if I'm correct, Raheem Morris is in the Super Bowl for the Rams as a defensive coordinator. And he also was the defensive back coach, I believe, when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl themselves. So, Raheem Morris, and he's had some head coaching experience with Tampa Bay and Atlanta. So, we think there was a guy who would get another shot, right? I'm just saying. But, yeah, it's a crazy situation we have out there. I don't know how we're going to solve it. It's really going to just take what takes to solve anything. You're going to need people of integrity in positions that are able to make decisions that are right based on the person's character, and not if it's, hey, it's my boy or it's my boy's son or whatever's going on. So until you get that consistently, yeah, you're going to keep getting this nonsense. And that's true, like you said, Tyrone, in every business. That's why I made this comment about the preaching business, because we have a lot of that in churches. We certainly have it in car dealerships I work at. Okay, I won't get in trouble. But we have it in the car business. I'm not saying our car dealership, not the Vigil family. I'm saying across the board, you have people that's what you're seeing in all types of business and all types of aspects. So hopefully and prayerfully we can get that change, get some people for integrity in here.
Yeah.
We hope.
You see it everywhere.
Yep, that is correct. But like I said, you just have to bring people in. All right, let's go ahead here. Said, but Coach Quinn made him receivers coach before he realized that he didn't back on the defensive side. Yeah, I mean, now, Falcons fans, I got to tell you, I thought about this, and I don't know why I keep rehashing this most painful situation. I guess every time Super Bowl comes up, I just have to rehash it. I went back and actually looked at the box score, Tyrone, and broke down where they kind of list the series play-by-play. And I found out something. Everybody can talk about Kyle Shanahan not running the ball and all that kind of stuff. But I got to tell you, it really was bad Falcon execution, if we're really honest. And I'm going to tell you the guy who doesn't get no kind of bad report because, again, his family is considered NFL royalty. But if you go back and look at that Super Bowl, two of the biggest plays that turned for that game were mistakes made by Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews, if you go back and watch and look at that game, the Falcons, a lot of people forget this, the Patriots tried an onside kick. The Falcons had the ball on the Patriots 45. They ran, picked up 9 yards. Mysteriously, they tried to pass. Jake Matthews was called for holding. And the Falcons ended up getting themselves out of field goal territory. Same thing again We talk about the missed block by Devontae Freeman, but again, in that same series, Jake Matthews held, and that's what caused the Falcons to move backwards. So we can say what we want about Shanahan not running, but at the end of the day, when you really do the deep dive analysis about that, the Falcons did not execute when they had to. That offense in the second half was terrible. They had 4 series that went punt, fumble, punt, punt.
Yep.
So you ain't winning nothing with that. So at the end of the day, guys, for all you Falcons fans, go back and look at the math. We can get mad at Shanahan all we want, but the bottom line is the Falcons just didn't execute. Let's go to social media one more time. It says here, was also intriguing, Alex Mack retires from the Falcons, goes back to his home state, and was the center for the 49ers. Well, HC, if you remember, that was a cap problem. The Falcons just couldn't keep him. That's why half that team is gone, because they had put so much money in Julio's and in Matt's contracts. They had no money. So those guys had to go. So
and I say this, Jonathan, you mentioned about the Super Bowl, Jake Matthews holding. That's why the game of football is chess, not checkers. It's about putting situations to where you can take advantage of of your opponent. And I remember listening to the commentary for that Super Bowl, from Belichick, and he said that they noticed that Jake Matthews had trouble with a speed rusher, so they put a speed rusher over there, and that's what you got. Again, you look at Freeman, he goes too far up into the line of scrimmage, and he misses the block that he's supposed to have on Hightower, and Hightower gets a clean shot at the quarterback, Matt Ryan. So yeah, like you said, it's not the coaching, but that's where people want to fault, but they don't understand the players got to carry it out too. So it's that's a good point, Jonathan. Good call out.
yeah, you got to execute, man. I like I said, because every time Super Bowl comes around, I always think back, okay, what could they have done differently? But really, it was those 2 plays turned the game, because if they are able to either get an extra play, this is how it comes down to an extra play or 2. Even if they don't kick the field goal, there's not enough time. It forced the Patriots to burn that 3rd and final timeout. They got to go the length of the field to tie and score 2-point conversion. It doesn't happen. So, like I said, I'm not going to blame Shanahan anymore. And plus, Shanahan has proved himself. This guy's got his team back to the NFC Championship game, into the Super Bowl on his own. And oh, by the way, his underlings, one of them's over at Green Bay. I think he's won they've won 24 games in 2 years under Matt LaFleur's tutelage. All those guys were on the Falcons staff, all of them. So who's really to blame here? That's all I got to say about that. All right, guys, it's been bumpy, but it's been fun. And you know how we like to do it. Before we let everybody go, we want to let people know how they can find more about you, social media, and website. So, Mr. Tyrone Poole, the floor is yours.
I got something new this time. Hey, thank you everybody for tuning in and watching. Go to my Instagram, Tyrone Poole 38, and click my link tree. And actually, on no pun intended, but Miss Dolman, but my link tree, it has all links to everything that I do. So one-stop shop. All right, I'm gonna get you like AT&T, one-stop shop.
I thought he was saying click my link tree, not click my link tree.
Oh, I know a lot of shade going back and forth there. That's why Mr. Tyrone Poole. Until next time. God bless you, sir. Have a wonderful day, sir. God bless.
Bye, Tyrone.
All right. Miss Tree Dolman, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. You can find me on social media at It's Latricia, as well as Miss America International 2021. Wow, that was funny.
This has been the crazy thing is, I took time earlier today, so okay, I'm finally gonna get 2021, and I forgot to make the main part transparent. So as soon as I popped it up, it went like this. Tree Dome, but at least look. Let's put it up again. At least I had everything right. Here it is. You're gonna go off the screen for a second, but there it is. I got it right. Miss America International 2021. Dun, 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 dun. All right, one more comment from social media. Here we go. All right, let's see what we got here. Larry Spike says, "Take care. God bless. We appreciate you, brother." And of course, Todd said Tyrone's gone, but he said, "Tyrone, you the man." That's right. All right, everybody. I'm gonna wrap it up real quick. All right, you know I'm a real minister, so I'm going to encourage you, please, man, please, sir. If you don't know the Lord, get to know Him today. Nobody loves you like Jesus. Nobody at all. Not your mom, not your auntie, not your bae, not your boo. He came here, fully God, fully man, and He died for you. And so here's a good thing: He rose from the dead. And when He rose from the dead, He had something marvelous in His hand. It's called salvation. So now, you, if you believe in Him, repent of your sins. Two great things happen. Number one, you become a full-time citizen of the kingdom of heaven, and you become an adopted child of God with all the rights therein. That means that you can live a life well lived here on the earth. And number two, when you die, you go to a happy place called heaven, where there's no pain, no pandemic, no problem, no bad people, no more pain. You live forever, and the sun is shining all the time because you are illuminated by the glory of God. And you get a chance to catch up with all those lovely people that went before you, like your auntie and grandmama and them, and you get a chance to see Jesus Christ face to face. And you avoid that nasty place called hell, where all the things that are in heaven are not there. So it's painful, it's terrible, it stinks, bad people everywhere, and you're cut off from God and Jesus Christ forever and a day. I don't know about you, but I like option number one versus option number two. All right, listen, you can follow me on social media at Real Talk Sports 7. That's the show. You can follow me personally at Minister J Sim. And remember, you can reach me also via email at jsimmons@realtalksports.net, or simply call me on the phone, 678-410-9833. All right, everybody, until the next time, God bless you and have a wonderful rest of the day. I got to put my shades on, good. We got to go, baby. So long, everyone.